give Lori another round of applause. I got like three pages of notes from that one. That was a good one. And man, is she right. My goodness gracious. Character, courage, confidence, passion, purpose. 87% of the people don't sell their business. Work all their life. Don't sell their business. Fear is temporary, but regret is forever. Wow. I want to talk to you about you today. Is that all right? We're going to talk about you. How many people here are ready to get going? How many people are ready? Are you coming out? Are you coming out? I'm going to give you something to give you some energy. Stand up. Everybody stand up. I'm going to give you some energy right now. And you can do this. This is great for real estate. Because I can get up in the morning and I can look in the mirror and I can say, look at this dude in front of me. Wow, you know? And I can't wait till tomorrow. I just get better looking every day. I mean, I just get you gotta feel that way. So I put my hands out. Put your hands out in front of you. Yes. Now, can you feel stretching just a little bit more? More. You got another inch there. Now, put them together. No, put them together again. Put them together again. As fast as you can. No, fast. Thank you for the standing ovation. I always love to be able to start. But I want to talk about you. I want to talk about you. Yeah, I've been in this business for a long time. And you know what? It's lots happened in the last year and a half, 2 years. We've learned a lot. Some of us have had some hard times. I did in my family. And however, I'm thankful for everything that I have today. Are you? Did you get to appreciate all the little things that you have? All the small things? And how would you like to be and have a great business that is free of all stress? Does anybody know what I'm talking about when I say stress? Probably not in this way. But does anybody feel like you might have some stress once in a while? Or does anybody here worry? Does anybody hear about this thing called anxiety? Let me talk about it. When I was 15 years old, I cut school one day. And I lived in Long Island, New York, still do. And 5 or 6 guys got together and we got on the Long Island Railroad and went into New York City and we wound up in Times Square. Now, Times Square, for those of you all want to come up, I said you all. Where's my you all coach? I have to have a you all coach when I okay, thank you very much. Did I do that all right? Was that a good one? You all? Okay, good. And so I call on them 3 or 4 times a day because I used to say use all, but that didn't work, right? From being from New York. But we wound up in Times Square. So if y'all go to come and visit us, it's a great place to go. And it is great with entertainment, with food, really a nice clean place. But when I was 15 years old, it was people sleeping on the streets. It was dirty, filthy. People were using wine bottles as pillows to sleep. All of the burlesque shows, the burlesque theaters that were built at the turn of the century were now X-rated movie houses. So here we are with 15 years old. We didn't know what to do. And Bobby, I saw a sign that said Oscar's Flea Circus. 50 cents. Oscar's Flea Circus. That's just something, you can take notes on this. So we said, okay, let's give it a try. So we went into this thing, Oscar's Flea Circus, and we went downstairs, 5 flights of stairs below ground. And here on one side, there was a wall that was painted white, and there was for circuses, and on the other wall was painted white, and there were lions and tigers and giraffes and all of these things that were there. And all of a sudden, Oscar came in, and there was in the middle of the room, there was a table like what you're sitting at now, round table. And in that round table, on it was a tent, a miniature circus tent, about that big. And it was yellow. And there were no seats, we were just standing around. And all of a sudden, this guy comes in and he had a red riding coat on with joffers and English riding boots. And it was Oscar, and he had a whip. And he was telling us all about fleas. And he pulled down this curtain, and it was a giant picture of a flea. And he told us that fleas can jump 7 feet, standing still. They could just jump 7 feet, and we're starting to get itchy now, because I know there's got to be some fleas laying around here somewhere, right? They've been somewhere. And we're starting to get more itchy. He says, "Come on over." No, I'm not coming over. No, I don't want to come over towards the table. So he said, "Now, I'm going to tell you something about this flea. Down the street at Madison Square Garden, at the same time, was Ringling Brothers One-Man Ballet Circus that was performing. And they had this world-famous person, a lion tamer by the name of Clyde Beatty. And he said, let me tell you about Clyde. He says, see, he's dealing with all these lions and tigers and all these big heads. They have the big brains. Anybody can train them. But you see with this flea? The flea has the brain, the head of a pin. So that makes me the greatest animal trainer on the face of the earth. He says, now watch what I've been able to do. And he went over to the table and he lifted the tent, and he put it on the side, and here's dozens, if not hundreds, of fleas jumping up and down. And jumping up and down, I'm just trying to get away from this thing as much as I can. And he has his whip, and he's whipping these fleas, and he's saying, Helen, get back in there. And he's doing all this stuff. And he says, now, what do you think of that? That's pretty amazing, isn't it? That I could control all these fleas. He took the thing, put it over to on top, and he left. That was it. That was the show. No drinks, no nothing. That was the show. After getting out of high school, 4 years in the Marine Corps, I wound up in real estate. And I borrowed $200 from my mom. And I took a bus from the Port Authority of New York to Detroit, Michigan, to hear my first real estate speaker by a person by the name of Jerry Bresser. And there's 250, 300 people in the room, and Jerry is talking about sales, but then he's saying, oh, there used to be this place in New York called Oscar's Flea Circus. And I went like that. And he saw me. He said, did you go there? And I said, yeah. He said, did you actually pay to get into that place? I said, yeah, I did. Now I'm feeling like a jerk, right? So I said, yes, I did. He said, well, that was true, everything that he told you. See, fleas can jump 4 feet. And they found out when they jumped and hit the top of the tent. Ooh, that hurt. When they hit the top of the tent again, he said, oh, that hurts. And as dumb as a flea is, you do that once or twice or 3 times. You jump 1 millimeter less. It doesn't hurt. When they jumped out to the side, they smacked the side of the tent. They said, oh my goodness, that hurts. They did that 2 or 3 times, and they learned that if they did 1 millimeter less, it didn't hurt. Can I ask you a question? How many of you are jumping so high. How many of you are saying, that's as far as I can go? Because it hurts. Yogi Berra once said 90% of life is half mental. So I'm going to talk about you. I'm going to ask you, are you ready? Are you ready to go to the next level? Tell me, are you ready? So let's take a look at this. You know what? Do you remember your first day in real estate? My first day in real estate, I went in, and it was only about 600 square feet. And this was even before they had Century 21, before they had master, franchises and things like that. So I went to work my first day, and there was another person in the office that was my age, 21, 22, and the broker was about 27. And there was, and that was it. And I walked in, and there was only the broker there. So the phone rang. And in those days, you used to put ads in newspapers. Does anyone remember putting ads for real estate in newspapers? And that was the classified section, and that's how you got. And man, I became good at that. I became good at the for sale by owners. I didn't know, man, I had a great training thing. So I was good. I used to go actually to where they printed the New York Times and the Daily News so that I could get the papers before the other real estate people got them. And I would go in there and I started calling people at 8 o'clock in the morning and for sale by owner, and started to get appointments and things like that. And I said, wow, this is really cool. So I get a phone call now. It's my first day, right? The phone rings. So I don't know what to do. What am I going to do? No one's picking it up. There's only the broker inside, so I guess I have to pick it up. So I picked it up. I said, hello? And the guy said to me, there's a house that you have advertised for $29,990. That was the average price of real estate then. And it sounds just like the house that I'm looking for. He says, what do? Send you a check? This is a true story. I said, I don't know, hold on. So I had to go inside to my broker and I said, hey, this guy wants to send me a check. He says, for what? For the house that you have advertised. Is that the way you do business here? He says, no, you gotta bring them in. He said, no. He says, you have to bring them in, you gotta show them the house, and then we'll talk about it. I said, okay. So I got back on the phone. Now, I'm starting to feel real cool on the phone, right? So I use my phone techniques by saying, nope, can't send me a check. You gotta come in, take a look at this sucker. He said, okay. So he was a driver for the subway trains in New York City. He got on the Long Island Railroad, came out with his wife the next day, picked them up, took them over to the house. Now, you thought my phone techniques were good? You should have seen them going through the house. See this room here? Mm-hmm. Got a toilet. Got a tub. This is a bathroom. Really? Yeah, now I'm driving. Now I am a real estate typhoon, right? So I'm going over and I'm saying, yeah, kitchen, yeah, wow. We get in the back room, in the backyard. He says, I think that this is the house I'm looking for. I said, right? He said, yeah. Do I give you a check now? I said, I don't know. We got to go back to the office and find out. So we go back to the office, and I said to the broker, he wants to give me a check. He says, for how much? I said, for $29,990. That's what the house is for, right? I told him, $29,990. He said, he's going to give you a check for $29,990. I said, yeah. I didn't know any better. So we signed this thing up, and he helped me sign. I didn't know the paperwork. I take him back to the railroad. I came back, and I said, I saw the house. 2 days in real estate. I sold the house. I figured, I sold the house. Let me see. $29,990, round off to $30,000. That's like $1,800. I'm gonna make maybe 900 or 800 bucks on this. So, wow, this is cool. This is really cool. So I got out a pencil and paper and I started figuring out, let's see, that's 450 bucks a day, right? So $450 if I work 300 days this year. I started figuring this out. I called my mother. I said, Mom, I'm single at the time. I said, Mom, don't pay off the mortgage. I'm going to pay it for you. Don't worry about it. You don't have anything to worry about here. So I went down to the local, this is all true. So I went down to the local watering hole that night and I took out my $25 a month gas money, put it on the bar, and I said, drinks for everybody. This is cool, man. Wow. Wow. I said, no, I don't want to tell too many people about real estate. I don't want too many people coming in on this, you know. This is not good. This is cool. This is cool. So I did something the next day that not too many real estate salespeople do. I was in the office at 9 o'clock. I couldn't wait for another 450 bucks. 10 minutes after 9, Sonny Festa, who was the buyer, calls. Guess what? What? He changed his mind. I just spent my beer money. What are you talking? You can't change this. I just put money on the bar. I'm supposed to get gas for this thing and stuff. So I learned that there are some highs and there are some lows in this business. How you feel? How do you feel? You know, we become who we believe we are. We are right now, and that goes back 2,000 years. You could read it in scripture. That person is who they think. That hurt. That hurt. It hurt me. So what did I do? I stopped I don't want to get hurt again, so I just went a millimeter short. So Greg, I didn't take out all these people. I should have. And I said to myself, my goodness, what this seems like such a great business, but do people really buy houses? Do people really do that? And you know, I saw other people do it, and other people were doing it, but I had to re-examine what I was believing. I didn't really know at the time. You know, when I was in 4th grade, I had a teacher by the name of Mrs. Kimmer. Mrs. Kimmer was teaching. I was out for a week and a half. I was sick, and I was out. I forget why, but in those days I had to be sick because my mother didn't keep me home from school unless it was at least 101. That's the way it was in those days. You just went to school. I mean, get out, go to school, you know, do what you have to do. And so you know what? I had to go back, and I found out that she was teaching long division, and I didn't learn long division. I couldn't pick it up. And my mother used to try to help me when I came home to do my homework, but I just wasn't able to get it. And it was then that I figured, I'm not good at math. Just not good. I'm not good at math. And it took me 5 times to get rid of elementary algebra. I think they passed me just to get rid of it. But you know what happened to me? When I got into real estate, I could figure out 6% off the top of my head, right down to the nickel. So I found out, man, this is what I believed about myself. What are you believing that's holding you back? What's your circus tent? What have you learned? How do you feel? How do you feel when someone says to you, no? I remember going into seminars that was a room filled like this, and everyone standing up and saying to me, saying to the speaker on the stage, "Yeah, we're going to go home and knock on 200 doors." And I'm saying, "I ain't doing that. You crazy? I'm not doing that." People slam doors in your face. Well, yeah. Well, I've been in the business 50 years. I had 2 doors slammed in my face, and one was a relative. But you see, I believe that. What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on what you have or what you don't have? Are you focusing on the problems that you have or the solutions that you have? Are you still more concerned about what other people think about you? Or are you ready to become your own person? So I'll tell you what I did. And here's where I'm going. I went home one day and I sat at my dining room table. And it was in October. And in New York, we're going through fall there. It was a gray day, and I sat down and I said, I'm either going to do this right or I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit real estate. And what else would I do? I don't know. I worked on the back of a garbage truck. I worked as a plumber's helper to help us get all the dirty work, by the way. I worked on a charting a fisherman boat, baiting, putting bait on. I was a bartender. And I was a drunk for about 15 years. Those things don't add up. You get a low 10. You don't have a lot of buffer. You're like right up against the ceiling. You don't feel good about yourself. You're not going to feel good about what you're doing. And I can remember saying, I had all the bad buyers. I didn't have any good buyers. All the good agents got the good buyers because they were selling them. So I wasn't selling anything. And I was bumping my head and bumping my head and bumping my head. So I said to myself, okay, here's what we're going to do. Are we going to do it right or quit? And here's what I said to myself. I was working 10 hours, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. Any of you doing that? Is there anybody here in this room? I know we've had a good year and everything, but there's anybody here in this room that would like to do better than what they did this year and last year? Can you raise your hand? Is there anybody, am I the only one that wants to do better this year than last year? So how are you going to do that? I'm going to give you a challenge today. And it's going to be a challenge right behind what Lori's saying. And yes, it takes confidence, and yes, it takes courage. And yes, we have to step out of our comfort zone. Are you ready to do that? Are you ready to step out of your comfort zone? So here's what I did. I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to work 4 hours a day instead of 10. But during those 4 hours, you wouldn't be able to talk to me. You wouldn't be able to say hi. Now, I'm a pretty friendly guy. I like to hang out with people and stuff like that. So I'll say hi, but no more of these 3-hour lunches. I couldn't afford them anyway because I wasn't making any money. No more of these 3-hour lunches. So I'm either going to take out a buyer, give a listing presentation, or do something to get one of those two. You got it so far? This is the time way before the ingenious idea was born about sponging. So what I did was, I said, okay, I could work with one buyer on a Saturday morning, 2 buyers on a Saturday afternoon, and do the same thing on Sunday. I can take a Tuesday night and Thursday night, and I could tell them, my goal is to have 4 listing presentations. I could do one at 6:30, and one at maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock. And if that didn't work out, I could just cancel one and go to the other, and this and that and the other thing. Well, here's what happened. if you do some short math, I was taking out, I was just practicing, right? Does that make sense to you? Practice with the bad buyers? Why not, right? So I had these bad buyers. These buyers, you're so fortunate. You don't get them here in the Southeast. But no, you don't, because in the Northeast, they want to get houses less than what they're worth. They want to pay less. They want to get more. They want to get, 9 bedrooms and 14 baths on 17 acres for $150,000. I mean, thank heavens you don't have to deal with these people. Could you imagine coming to New York and have to deal with those type of people? So that's the people that I was dealing with. I said, okay, so I can do this. So I took them out. And I had a buyer Saturday morning. I had 2 Saturday afternoon, did the same thing on Sunday. You know what happened? By accident. Gregor, by accident. I sold 4 houses that month to bad buyers. You see, what happened was I took out 24. That means I failed 21 times. Is my math right? No. But I failed more than anybody else in the office. What's the math? 20? I don't know. 19? All I know is that I had 4 sales. I had 3 the year before. Oh, you want to know something? I got 10 listings that month. No, I'm not bragging right now. Here's what I want you to see. I was the same person who was the week before. I had the same listing presentation, good or bad. I had the same buyers, good or bad. I bet you got some. His name was Sonny Festa. Does anyone now know Sonny Festa? I bet you got some Sonny Festas hanging around in your CRM. So now, here's what I want you to think about. I went home that day, and that is the day that I became the president of my own company. How about that? I want you to become the president of your own company. Right within the company that you're in. I want you to be the president. I want you to walk in like the president. I found out that, you know what? It's not that you don't have to be good. You do have to be good. But you have to be more consistent than you are good. And I get better. And I get better because the more I do, the more I succeed, the more I get better. Oh, gee, this is nice. Nice way to live life. Haven't had a drink in 43 years. So here's my challenge to you now today. And why by the way, thank you for having me. Thank you, and thank you for inviting me. Kenny and Stacy, thank you for doing that. The reason I came here today was for one reason. To have you go into your own company, to become the person that you can become, that you want to become. I happen to be a person of faith. Do you believe in destiny? Do you believe that you're here for a reason? Do you believe that there are things that you should do or could do or want to do? Does anybody yet have something left to do that they haven't done yet in life? Anybody here? Are you ready to go and do it? Because that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about real estate. I'm talking about your life. I'm talking about your lifestyle. That's the business we are in. The people that come in to buy real estate from us, they could care less about real estate. They are buying a lifestyle. They want a home where they can grow their kids up in the place that they want, in a school district that's good, and to maybe all the kids have their own bedroom that they didn't have when they were a kid. That's the business that you and I are in. Do I hear an amen to that? Amen. And you see, with you becoming the president of your own company, what do presidents do? They swagger, man. They swagger. Did you see Lauren come up? She's got that president swagger now already, right? She got that from Tammy by now. Tammy's been swaggering for years. So they walk around with the swagger, you see? And you know what? Leaders define reality. Leaders define reality. It's what you believe. There was a husband and wife that got married. They went on a honeymoon somewhere. They came back and they're having their first meal together. And the wife is cooking a nice meal, and the husband notices it's roast beef, one of his favorites. So when he noticed, his wife took a big. Do we have any cutlery knives in this room anywhere? Yes, we do. They took the exact cutlery knife that you see on the table, and she cut a big slab of the roast beef, put it aside. She turned it around, took a big slab of roast beef, and put it aside. Then she went and cooked. Now this guy is smarter than me. He didn't say a word. He just sat there. And I was like, what are you doing, man? $9.50 a pound? What is going on here? So they had their meal, and he said, you know, that was really good. He said, tell me, why did you cut the ends of the roast beef off like that? And she said, well, because when you cut the ends of the roast beef off before you cook it, it tastes better that way. He said, really? He said, why? She said, I don't really know, but that's the way you have to do it. It tastes much better. So he said, where did you learn that from? He said, well, from my mom. And so when he was at the mom's house, he said, did you teach Ginger to cut the ends of the roast beef off and put them aside? And she said, yes, I did. And she says, it tastes better that way. He said, why does it taste better? She said, I really don't know, but it does. He said, where'd you learn that from? He said, from my mother. So they were over the grandmother's house for New Year's. And he said, Grandma, did you teach your daughter to cut off the ends of the roast beef before you cook it? She said, yeah, I did. He said, why did you do that? She said, because when I first got married, my pan was only this big. How many of you are cutting off the ends of your roast beef? How many of you are saying, oh, 30,000? I've never done that before. How many of you are saying 60,000? No one in my family has ever earned that much money before. How about 150,000? How about 200,000? Is that possible? Yeah. Well, we got two people that will do it. So I have something that I've learned to call, Lori had mentioned John Maxwell, and I too have attended the same training that she has. And John Maxwell has a book out called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. The first law is what's called the law of the lid. And the law of the lid says we all have lids. Now, I don't want to discourage you on this, so you have to kind of translate where I'm going. You're not going to go higher than your lid. You're not going to go higher than you can believe that you can go. So you've got to change your lid. You got to expand your lid. Your circus tent has no top to it. So when we look at this stuff and say, oh my goodness, what does presidents do? You've got to surround yourself with the right people. This company has given you a gift. And the gift is called sponsoring. And you can stay, if you're not sponsoring, you can still make a lot of money in real estate. That's fine. And you could go see King. You'll get your all caught up, man, on how to go out and get listings and sales and things like that. You can make a lot of money in real estate. Or if I was making $100,000 in real estate, or $150,000 in real estate, and if I was making $70,000 or $80,000 for people that are coming in that I can help save, how would that make you feel? There are people right now that have not totally recovered from the pandemic that we've had. There are people right now that do not have jobs or the same type of job that they had before that they can earn the same type of money. Are you out there? Are we out there? We have what we call a teal triangle. I want to be able to help the people buy the houses because it's their dream. It has nothing to do with real estate. I want people to help sell their houses for the same reason. They are going to now go buy another house or do something that's going to change their lifestyle. And I want to be able to go to all the people that I know and don't know and talk to them and get people that are in the real estate business over to my side so that I can help them meet their lifestyles. How's that? So if you can meet your lifestyle and you can become the president of your own company, can you draw a line in the sand? Draw a line in the sand. Saying, no more old thinking. Draw a line in the sand and saying, there's nothing stopping me. Now you can't, when you take a look on beliefs of me could be from birth, like my belief with Miss Kimmer. I was good at math. Some of you may have been encouraged growing up, some of you may not have. Some of you learned great experiences when you first got into real estate, some of you, like me, did not have. So when you take a look and you see that we are working on here's a formula, and this works all the time. Here's the formula. My beliefs give me feelings. My feelings determine my action. My action determines my results. And my results tell me who I am. How do you feel? You ready to let it go and to let it all out? Let all the baggage go. And to be able to say, you know what, if anyone can do this, why not me? So I wrote something, in fact, I'm going to read it to you. Because maybe this could be for you. By the way, King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table were sitting around talking whatever knights talk about. And this guy comes rushing in saying, you know, there's a new archer out there in Sherwood Forest. It's going to be the best archer in the whole world. Really? And they said, yeah, you see this guy. And they said, all right. So they all got on their horses and went out to Sherwood Forest. And they saw all these bullseyes on trees. And every one of them had an arrow right dead center. They said, wow, we got to find this guy. So they went out and they heard this whoop, an arrow go into a tree. And they said, oh, that's coming from over there. So they went over there and they saw this boy about 9 years old climbing the tree and to the arrow with a can of paint and painting the circle around the arrow. Cold calling doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. Well, Rick, you don't practice real estate. No, but I go out with my exit. People around my house. I still knock on doors because I want to hear what's going on. I do pool nights. People that came to open houses. You know what I find? 31% of the people that I call back have bought, but they bought from a broker. Because those were my bad buyers. So now I want you to become the president of your company. What do you need? It starts with your mind. It starts with what we believe. It starts with, you know what? If it's going to be, it's up to me. Why not me? Why not become the person that you've always wanted to become? Now let me go back to what I said, where it all starts. The why. Why are you doing this? Oh, Rick, I want to make a lot of money. No, you don't. You don't care about making money. What you care about is what you're going to do with the money, once you make it, and that's your why. You're going to have a better family life. You're going to do something for other people. You're going to whatever. That's your why. And are you willing to walk through the mud to get to the top of the castle? So you can't get this by wishing. There was a husband and wife that turned 65 on the same day. And they were in, I think, London. And a genie appeared and said to the lady, I'm going to give you one wish, whatever you want, and I'll grant it to you. And she said, I want to travel all over the world. I want to be a world traveler. So they were given she was given a whole bunch of brochures and airline tickets and tickets for going on cruises and things like that. And he was very happy. Then he sheepishly turned to the husband and said, what would you like? And you could see this guy was uncomfortable. He was kind of kicking his feet. He said, I'd like to be married to a woman 30 years younger than me. And poof, he was 95. You can't get in life what you wish for. You've got to make it. You've got to do it. And I wrote this that I'm going to lend to you if you want. You don't have to take it. But maybe you want to say something like this. I'm building a business. Not just a career. I'm building a business within my business. Isn't that cool? Exit was designed for you to do this. Wow, what a gift. Did you see, Lori, that was a great visual way to see that. How would you like to have 3,000 people here next year and you're getting a piece of the action from a lot of them? How would you like to do that? Would that be something that you're in for? Oh my goodness, I would. Wow. Can you imagine having 3,000 people? Well, you should be working your tail off. My goodness gracious. But I wonder, can I give you this? I don't know. It says, I'm building a business. And I'm building a business with people. And I'm building a business with people, and I'm helping these people. I want them to become who they're meant to be. What their talents and abilities will allow them to be. I have the pleasure of coaching some people for 8-9 years. And somehow I get all the single moms, probably my age. And so I get all the single moms, and my daughter was a single mom for 10 years. And I got single moms doing $400,000 a year right now in real estate, knocking on doors. Hello? Single mom don't have to worry about anybody taking care of her anymore. That's right. This is an opportunity for you to become the president of your own company. Take it. Take the opportunity. Learn. I have started 4 months ago. I cut out 4 hours a week in my time to study and learn. That's what you need to do. I need to become better, and I need to know more about real estate than what I know today. And I need to know more about what it takes to be a leader. That's what I want to make you, a leader. You know what Maxwell says? There's one word definition, right? And that one word definition is that a leader has influence. And I want you to take that influence, and I want you to help people in your life that you become the leader, that you have 5 or 6 or 7 people that you've got working around you. How's that? That you're helping them. And I'm not necessarily talking about the formal type of team. You can. I happen to believe that's the future of real estate, by the way, teams. where people specialize in different things. But I'm building a business with people and helping them become who they were meant to be. And I get who I am back in return. I want to provide a third-party income stream for myself and my family. With passive income that will fund my family, my dreams, and my vision. What a privilege. What a privilege it is that you can work for someone else and you get all the benefits from it. My goodness. What a privilege it is that some of you in this room can take a year off. And I know a gal that just gave birth, took a year off, taking a year off, spent with the baby. Why? Because she's getting 4, 5, 6 checks a month. That's why. I know another gal that had catastrophe in her home and lost her husband. And didn't go to work for a year, but every single bill in her home was paid for because of Steve's initiation of sponsoring. So, I'm going to, you don't have to write this. You don't have to take it if you don't want. But I'm going to just read it to you. It's the way I feel. I want to provide a legacy for my family and for the generations that follow and leave them. I want to give them the example of significance, hard work, caring, being with other people, putting their needs before mine. And that will bring me integrity and courage and success, sharing and love. That's who I am. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Thank you.